Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1 million by 1 million strategy roundtable for entrepreneurs. 1M, as you know, is the first and only global virtual accelerator for technology startups. Our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million and beyond in annual revenue. In support of this mission, we do these free mentoring roundtables week after week after week, month after month, year after year. It started back in 2008. This is the 637th free roundtable. The event is being recorded. All roundtable recordings are available on our YouTube channel, 1M1M Roundtables. On Twitter, we are quite active. You can look us up. And these are the call-in instructions. You don't need them quite yet, but I will put the slide back up later on. We have scheduled programming first. We are going to do the entrepreneur pitches first, 2 of them, and then I will take questions and elevator pitches from the audience as well, if you want to participate in that mode. And of course, throughout, feel free to interact through the public chat, introduce yourselves, ask questions, engage however you wish to. Your computer audio will also work. So when we're ready for Q&A, you can also let us know in public chat that you want to talk, and Maureen will activate your computer audio as a panelist, and then you can interact through that as well. Or I will put up the dial-in instructions. You can dial in through there. Remember, this is a safe working session. I will be working with you. I'll be giving you, candid feedback, but with the intent of being constructive. It's going to be, hopefully actionable, hopefully constructive critique of what you are doing, how you can do better, what are the roadblocks, how can we remove roadblocks, that kind of a discussion. Okay, so Adam, you are up first.
I'm up. Well, thank you. Great to meet everyone. I am Adam Halpern. I'm the founder and CEO of WaveOn Health. And a little bit about my background. I'm an athletic trainer by trade. I worked at Stanford University. I worked with the US ski team. And if any of you on the phone have ever been an athlete, we're kind of the silent Batman behind the athletic health. So we are a licensed, certified profession. We have to go to school. We have to work underneath the supervision of doctors. That's the standing orders. So it's this very unique niche within what I call athletic health management. And our tagline is really important: be a lifelong athlete. There are athletes that are consistently playing sports throughout their entire life, but that just gives you a little bit of framework of who I am. Next slide, please. So the problem that we're solving is there's a major labor crisis within institutional sports, high schools and colleges. 1/3 of the high schools in the country of the United States do not have athletic trainers that manage the health of the athletes. At the college level, there are 42% open jobs, and then there's a 48% turnover. So this is subject matter expertise. That's the founder in me coming out. That really helps people understand there's a problem that most people are not aware of. Next slide. And this problem exists because our profession, which has 55,000 athletic trainers all over the country, leading into other countries across the world, we are tired of being overworked, underpaid, undervalued, which is causing us to leave those settings. They don't want to work 80 hours a week. They don't want to go from football to basketball to track. They want to have a better work-life balance, and they're going to work for Amazons. They're going into medical device sales. So that's leading to the problem. Next slide, please. What we've identified is these injuries that occur at high schools or college sports, they lead to a $20 billion economic impact from medical costs and time lost. And what I've done through thousands and thousands of customer discoveries is really just listening to the needs of athletes and coaches and parents. And all they really want is access to advice and support. How bad is the injury? What should I do about it? And then we can escalate to the next level of advice and support. Next slide. So how the healthcare system is addressing this problem, and once again, I'm diving into the weeds from the subject matter expertise, hospitals or clinics around the country will hire athletic trainers and they will place them at these high schools or these colleges. And that allows an economic benefit for the schools. And then it allows the clinic or the hospital to get athletic trainers in the community, engage with them, focus on referrals, decreasing the cost of healthcare. And it actually improves people from that patient acquisition for the hospitals. Next slide.
So is this happening already, or this is what you, in your vision, this is what you want to see happen?
No, this is happening all over the country. So major hospitals are already doing this.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's already.
Hospitals are placing athletic trainers in schools already in the community.
Yeah. What's happening though, the challenge of this process of what's called outreach, they have athletic trainers, but they can't go past the 1-to-1 ratio. One athletic trainer to one athlete, to one sport, to one school. It's not scalable. So that is leading to some of these hospitals are leaving money on the table because high schools or colleges are asking them to provide service. But because of that labor crisis, they can't get that in-person athletic trainer to take the job. Next slide, please. How we solve this problem is we are providing a virtual athletic trainer that allows athletic trainers to deliver the service virtually. We allow them to help more athletes, and it's actually a more advantageous financial situation because they can work with more athletes. Next slide.
So the numbers that you're showing here, this athletic trainer salary, 76,000, that's a full-time job paid by hospitals, and then
so that's
compensated by the schools?
Those are our average salary numbers. So when an athletic trainer works in person at a school, on average, they make $76,000. And what we're proposing is we come in at half the price, but we can actually support more athletes at once because we're able to work with, like that picture on the left, when there's a 1-on-1 ratio, the athletic trainer works with footballs, basketballs, like they're called contact sports. What we're able to do is bring the same level of support to the Olympic sports or the non-contact sports. So think track and field, golf, tennis, swimming. They're not going to have a concussion, so they don't need to have someone there all the time. And we're able to help those athletes in a different fashion. Or the high schools that don't have anything at all, they don't have the budget for $76,000 because they're a small rural high school across the country, but they do want to have that access to advice.
You just contradicted yourself. I asked you who's paying the $76,000 salary. Is it the hospital? You said yes.
Well, it's the high school or the hospital. It depends on who is employing the athletic trainer. There are some high schools across the country that don't work with the outreach model. That's why at the top, you'll see value proposition for outreach and schools. Outreach is one solution to fix the problem. The other solution is schools are hiring athletic trainers and they're paying $76,000, or there are small schools across the country. 1/3 of the high schools don't have athletic trainers. They don't have $76,000 to pay for an athletic trainer. So our solution is much more affordable than the $76,000.
Okay, so now explain to me how you make this work on your cost side at $30,000. If the market is already complaining it's not paid enough, how are you going to deliver this service?
So this is actually a really important slide based on what you just said, or what you just asked. Athletic trainers want to have a better work-life balance. So what that means in the world of athletic training, they will work 5 days a week, and then they have to cover another tournament all weekend to make a little bit of extra money. So that's why they don't have a work-life balance, because it's all focused on that 1-to-1 ratio. What we're doing by leveraging technology, we're able to give athletic trainers the ability to work with multiple high schools or multiple athletes from afar. So go to the next slide. This is the market. There's 20,000 schools. There's 200 outreach programs, and we're already engaging with some of these hospitals across the country. Next slide. I'm pausing just to help you understand. I should have had this slide earlier. The whole deck changes every single day. So what I sent you is actually not the most current deck. So how we're doing this would have been really advantageous at the beginning. We are leveraging technology to deliver the resource and the accessibility of these athletic trainers to connect with these athletes and vice versa, which then increases the access, improves efficiency, and then these athletic trainers don't have to cover those weekend tournaments like I mentioned, that they can support more athletes, make more money for themselves without having to be there in person. Next slide.
So
Go ahead. Yep.
How does this work? If I'm an athletic trainer
Mm-hmm.
and I work for you,
Oh.
how much am I getting paid? You are getting paid from the school or the hospital $30,000 for what? And how much am I getting paid?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. We have a double-sided business model. So one side is the schools and the organizations, and the other side is the actual athletic trainer. So we're looking at a 50% split because we're really focused on revolutionizing the workforce and giving them the opportunity to be in control and empower them. So when we get a school,
are you doing a marketplace?
yeah, we're doing a marketplace directory. So it's not a straight marketplace like Uber, where it's an individual interaction and then there's a new person when they have an injury next. We are attaching an athletic trainer to a school or to a sport. And then when those athletes need help, the trust and the continuity of care is already there. So
So the client on one side of the marketplace is a school,
mm-hmm.
and that school is hiring an athletic trainer at $30,000 a year for a sport.
Did you say 8 sports or a sport?
One sport.
Not in our model. In the current model, when it's an in-person service, yes. In our model, in the WaveOn Health model, an athletic trainer can work with multiple sports and many athletes at the same time because we're doing everything
with a single school.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
With a single school. So
Yep.
So an athletic trainer on your platform is going to have to work with one school and whatever number of sports, but gets $30,000.
No, so great question. They might work with multiple schools because the time spent with each athlete is less than an in-person environment. So it's all about a scaling model as well.
But it depends on how many students the school has, how many athletes the school has, right?
And it depends on the
sufficient amount of money
yeah.
for somebody to live on, right? In America, $30,000 doesn't really get you very far. Maybe in some geographies it'll get you a little bit, but it's not a full. That's not going to be enough to make a living. You're
100% correct. Our model is not one athletic trainer only works with one school. The model is instead of one-to-one, it's one to many. So it's one athletic trainer to many schools, one athletic trainer to many athletes. And that's where the virtual capability is very similar to what happens in telemedicine, telehealth.
So what is your assumption? One athletic trainer can work with how many schools? How many $30,000 deals can one athletic trainer manage realistically?
That is the phase that we're in. We're evaluating that. Go to the next slide real quick. So where we are to talk about the traction to validate your question, our beachhead market are these hospitals that already have athletic trainers, and we're literally solving the problems we're talking about. So we're validating how many athletic trainers, what's the utilization rates. We already have 13 athletic trainers in 13 different states. We already have a platform that allows us to deliver this. We've done a lot with a little bit. We've mastered it. But the real crux of your question is that's the number one thing we're trying to validate. What is the ratio of athletic trainers to entities, sports entities, and then end users? That's really what we're focusing on right now. Next slide. We have the team to do it. Tracy, as an example, is working with MLS, and he's covering all of their youth academy tournaments. So he's already talked with them. We just have a great team that, because of their background, they're really able to help us maximize this opportunity. Next slide. I mean, this is what we're asking for. Small little tranches to help us get over the hump and focus on technology integrations, because there's already a lot of these technology tools on the market. We're just bundling them to put them together to build this end user service. And then as we scale into new markets, there's the expansion. And then next slide. And then this is where we're going. We're starting with the outreach opportunity in the schools because of the problems we've already addressed. And 100% of high school athletes or college athletes graduate, and 100% of professional athletes graduate or retire. But a large majority of athletes, when they have lived this lifelong athlete mentality, they will pick up new sports. They will pick up pickleball, triathlons, they'll ski with their family. They do, like Boston Marathon happened this week. So if we look at the goal in the future, by leveraging technology to be a technology-assisted athlete health service, there's 24 million everyday athletes, and those are defined as individuals that have a performance goal, they're tracking that goal, and they spend $125 a month on membership, equipment, travel, entry fees, or private coaching. So the long-term goal is we will have a private athletic trainer in their pocket, those 24 million people. And then we also have the private individual athletic trainer business that's connecting them by leveraging technology that allows them to deliver this service. So in conclusion, all of your questions are great. The slide structure and order was totally incorrect on how I was presenting. So all your questions are great. And then you can go to the next slide, and then I look forward to hearing any additional thoughts that anyone has.
So here's my feedback on how you should think about fundraising.
Yep.
This is not a seed deal. This is a pre-seed deal.
Okay.
And it's not validated.
Okay.
So basically, we don't really know. If I put my investor hat on, I don't really know what I'm investing in. What is the business that I'm investing in?
Okay.
You have the vision for a certain, value proposition, but the numbers are completely vague at this point. We don't know, whether these athletic trainers are going to be willing to work for this price. What is the income of an athletic trainer in your model? How many schools can it support? Is it a $30,000 a year, $60,000 a year, $90,000 a year, $120,000 a year? We don't know that. That's number one. We also don't know how many schools are willing to pay all this. So at the moment, even though you're showing that you are going to go from schools to sports organizations to events to private athletes, I would submit that it would take you 3 years to just do the school segment and figure it out, because that's how business works. Business doesn't work in hops. Business works in minute block and tackle, and you have to figure out all those nuances and details. So the question I would ask is, okay, if you have to go 3 years on the school segment, what is the business? What is the school segment business? And what are the metrics of that? And how much money do you make? Who makes? And if you're going to take away 50% of the revenue of these athletic trainers, it's a really unattractive deal. And I mean, how many of these deals do schools, to the one athletic trainer have to support to make a living. The part that doesn't work for me is that what's in it for the athletic trainer? The cost structure and the revenue share structure that you're suggesting, I'm not sure if this is going to hold up under scrutiny and validation. So this is an unvalidated deal, and you cannot raise seed round money on an unvalidated deal. You have to think of this as a pre-seed round, and you have to raise that money from friends and family. This is not going to be palatable for VCs or even angels, professional angels, because it just doesn't have enough understanding of what business is this.
That is perfect feedback. Honestly, that's fantastic for a lot of reasons that I won't get into, but that really is helpful tremendously. So
yeah, don't waste your time trying to raise seed money right now. It's going to eat up a lot of your time because, I just gave it to you straight up, right?
yeah, no, that's why I appreciate it. No.
Investors are not going to give it to you straight up. They're going to kind of do blah, blah, blah. And you're going to get confused and misled and so forth. But the bottom line is investors cannot understand what this business is yet. And you have to take it one step at a time, and you have to figure out what this business is and do a very inexpensive assessment and validation work to understand what are the numbers. Is it viable for athletic trainers to work within your model, and what does it take for that to work? Like if I want to recommend, I know people in our community who are really interested in sports and enthusiastic people in sports and would love to do something like this because they're sports lovers and they love being around athletes and so forth. But I don't know that they can make a living.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I can't thank you enough because you're really giving me the direction, the honesty, the directness, the candor. Thank you. Hopefully, everyone else that's listening, like that's what we as founders need to hear, because then it helps set the North Star of go do this first, and then everything else will become possible. So,
Exactly.
thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. And as you go along, if you need more regular coaching, you can always join. I'll talk about how to use 1M later, but I just don't want you to go spend a year beating on the doors of investors because this is not a fundable situation.
Yeah, love it, love it, love it for, like I said, a million reasons. It's super helpful.
Good. I like your attitude too, that you're receptive to such feedback because not everybody is. So that's, give yourself a pat on the back for that alone, because, nobody succeeds unless you're willing to accept the truth, right? The truth is the truth.
Yeah, thank you for recognizing. Appreciate it.
Varun Vishwakarma, you're up next.
Yeah, so hey everyone, thanks Adam for setting the tone. My name is Varunesh. I am the co-founder of Kuttl. Talking a little bit about my background, I did my engineering from IIT Delhi, a place where Vinod Khosla graduated from. And I draw inspiration from those kinds of people who have been from my college. Uh, so when I was in college, I used to order a lot online, and we all have ordered. We can't deny that. And we've seen how Amazon has transformed our lives while we are trying to order online. But there is even the markets are transforming now. We are moving towards an economy where, and I'm especially talking about India over here. So India is moving towards an economy where it's becoming more premiumized. People are focusing more on consumerism, and they're buying more from direct to consumer brands and not from Amazon specifically, right? So while we order from these places, the experience is not that great as Amazon gives. Next slide, please. Yeah. So whenever we order from non-Amazon places like direct to consumer brands, most of the order updates come to us on email, SMS, and WhatsApp. Or maybe I can go to a brand's website and try to get information from them. This process is complex, cumbersome, and time-taking. It leads to a lot of anxiety in the consumer about where the order is. They miss the return windows. They might miss the deliveries, returns. So the whole communication layer that enables a consumer have that peace of mind is not there. right? Amazon has it, but for every other purchase on online that I do, it's not there. Next slide, please. Right. So this is what our app does. The solution to all your post-purchase problems is our app. The app centralizes all your purchases in a single app where you can track and manage everything. So right from tracking where my order is to trying to get customer support, you can do all of those things in the app itself. So let's say if I ask you, where did you buy this shirt that you're wearing from? You might not remember that. But if you come to this app and do a simple search, you can get to know. And if let's say you bought an expensive electronic item and you want to check when its warranty is going to expire, even that can be checked. So it takes care of the whole post-purchase journey of the consumer after making the payment. And whatever you can think of, whatever you can imagine, we are going to solve for all of those problems, starting
So,
from tracking and customer support.
Varun,
Next slide, please.
what is your assumption? All your consumers, all purchases are going to go through your app?
So purchases they can make from anywhere, right? The discovery part they can own it. I can go to website and purchase from there. I can go to most of the people are also buying from Instagram now, right? The shops are automated on social media platforms, and I can buy from there. But even if I buy from there, where do I track it, right? That is the problem that I want to solve. So social commerce is growing, direct to consumer is growing. That is the assumption that we have.
Yes, but how are you going to get all this? You're saying that you're going to be managing all the data and you're going to be managing all the customer service. How the
Right.
hell do you do that?
Right. So starting with the getting the order
You want me to
information,
go to the
we
next
use
slide?
yeah. So this basic. So I'll answer the question first. So we do that by aggregating the consumer purchase related information from consumers' emails right now, and in future we plan to integrate with shopping platforms like Shopify, Unicommerce, where these websites are hosted, right? And they do share all this information. They have their APIs where they can give us this information if the user gives their consent to it. So talking a little bit about what are the effects this poor communication is having on the economy, on maybe on online shopping. So the return rates in India are quite high. That is mostly because the communication is not right. I don't know if I wake up in the morning and I don't know how many orders I'm going to get in a day, right? So I can't plan my day. Maybe I'm in office and my order has come at home. I can't do that. So it leads to a lot of rescheduling in deliveries. Last mile delivery problems are definitely there. As I mentioned, rescheduling, lack of proactive alerts, it leads to order status anxiety in the consumers. Then 50% consumers hesitate to contact customer support until unless there's a major problem, right? So as you asked, 80% of the issues that consumers have are related to where is my order, and related to basic things like I want to return my order, I want to cancel my order. So those things
A
can be
lot of
handled.
fraud in India, a lot of theft.
Yes. So even that is there. So a poorly informed consumer is the root cause of all these problems. If a consumer is well informed, I'd like to give
It's
you
not
a
a poorly informed consumer. I'll tell you, I had an experience a few months ago in India. We ordered from Swiggy dinner, and the dinner showed up, but minus one item.
okay.
And the item that was missing was, I don't remember, I think remember it was chicken bharta. So the biryani arrived and the chicken bharta didn't arrive, something like that. So
Right.
basically the dinner is not, you have kebab and biryani and you don't have anything with gravy. So it basically ruins the dinner. And they
Right.
offered me, Swiggy offered me like 50% reimbursement. I'm like, I paid for the whole thing. Order did not arrive. Why should I, pay a penalty for not receiving
Yes,
what I ordered?
that's so right. So in India, people are not even aware of these things. So you're talking about Swiggy. Let's say if we talk about a business that somebody bought online from, they are not even aware of their rights. They're not even aware about what they should do next. So even all those things we are catering to, we have created an AI system which tells the consumer what is the best next step they can take in their customer support journey. So that is how we plan to solve this problem. We are not saying that we can definitely eradicate this problem completely, but we are like an enabler to the consumer who can take the right actions whenever a problem arises. Yeah, this is what a typical user looks like. So users like anybody in India who orders a lot online, they have to install multiple apps to do tracking. They miss their refunds multiple times. Refunds take very long to get credit to the account, and they don't even know what the business policies are. So let's say when you ordered from Swiggy, did you even know that the business has a policy of 50% return or 50% refund? Had you already known that, you wouldn't have maybe contacted the customer support because you already agreed to all the policies, right? That is what the fundamental problem is we're trying to solve. Next slide, please.
Do you have somewhere your business model?
Yeah. So this is what the business model looks like. For an average consumer, imagine you missed your return window. Imagine you missed your refunds. There's an accidental renewal of any subscription that you have. It leads to a lot of money loss for the consumers. Overall, it leads to somewhere around $1.5 billion of losses in India in standalone. Talking about how we can monetize this, businesses can use this platform to offer a better post-purchase experience. What I mean by that is when you saw that when people see that there's something missing with their order, they instantly want to go to somewhere and get that support, right? Kuttl could be that first step that the consumers will take to resolve their issues.
But how
Apart
are
from
you going
that,
to do anything? Like in the situation, in the use case that I just gave you, Swiggy is not going to return 100%. In Amazon, if you
right,
in America at least, if you return something, they'll return you'll get your money back. Why is
right,
Amazon doing so well? Because Amazon has very high integrity business practices. Swiggy is a low
right,
integrity business practice.
right. So that is the kind of wave that we want to create. If consumers are aware and they constantly ask the business that we want our rights back, we want the right resolution, then only the business will work upon it, right?
Yeah, but how do
Amazon is
you
a
help if you cannot, you have no control over the customer, over the policies of Swiggy or anybody
right,
else.
right.
So how are you
So
going to make a dent in this? I don't understand.
as I mentioned, a poorly informed consumer, we want to let the consumers take the driving seat in their post-purchase journey, right? So initially, without Kuttl, let's say, if out of 10 orders, 5 are problematic, 5 will not speak about it. Only 2 are speaking about it. But with Kuttl, 5 will speak about it, and then something else will happen, right? So that is how we plan to do it. We are not promising that we will get you your refunds. We are like a co-pilot for you. We will help you get your refunds if you're going to get any. Next slide, please. So this is what the opportunity in India looks like. There are 1.5, I mean, point, 1.5 lakh D2C brands in India, and they spend approximately 5-10% of their top line in managing their post-purchase experience, which is what we want to improve. That is a market for us, and we don't want to stick to just India. We want to scale globally as well. In US, there's a company called Route, which is solving this post-purchase thing for US shoppers. What they do is they let the consumers track their orders, and for brands, they allow better post-purchase experience. And that is where we are drawing inspiration from. We feel that in future there'll be more social commerce, more D2C, and there the value add will be definitely present. And definitely, if you've heard of ONDC in India, it's a big wave right now. Every small seller can go and sell online now. But for him to manage the compliances, manage the customer experience is going to be very tricky. And Kuttl can help them solve that problem. Next slide, please. So this is what our go-to-market strategy looks like. Initially, we plan to get consumers who struggle with their orders, who constantly put on Twitter that I have a problem with this order, I have a problem with that order. We target them initially. Then we go to brands and tell them that we can improve your post-purchase experience, and that is why you should partner with us. So whenever you now send an order to the consumer, tell them that you can track and manage your order via Kuttl, and that is how we plan to onboard consumers. Yeah, that's it. Mostly. So then, and then eventually network effects will kick in, and then we have more consumers, more businesses on board. Next slide, please. This is what the team looks like. The team is experienced in WhatsApp marketing. Ajay was working in WhatsApp marketing, so he knows how brands communicate with the consumers. So that part we have sorted. Parvez was working at Amazon, so he knows that there's a trend that is moving away from Amazon. So we retain that customer centric behavior as a company, and that is why we feel that we are a great team to solve this problem as well. And next slide, please. Yeah, that's it. We are still in the pre-MVP phase, and we are planning to, get some validation from the market, from consumers, from businesses, and that's how we plan to grow further.
Do you propose to raise money for this, or are you planning to bootstrap?
So initially, right now we are bootstrapped, but we do plan to raise money for this in
The
future.
problem is, it doesn't feel like a very fast growth business to me. You're gonna go hand select what you're gonna go look on Twitter and find people who are having problems on Twitter, and then you're gonna sell them your app, and then you're gonna take that and go to sell to brands. It looks to me like a very manual, very slow growth business, and that's not the kind of business that gets funded.
Okay.
VCs are looking to go from $0 to $100 million in 5 to 7 years. I don't think this business is going to go at that rate. So you have a good background. Is this the best idea that you can come up with?
So right now, yes. And on the slow growth part, I think there are, earlier back, like 5 years ago, when people were building consumer apps, it was tough to onboard consumers. But I think nowadays with social media and everything, I think every user is more aware of what is going on right now. And
do you have any experience of social media marketing?
Yes, I do have. I was a media head in iDelhi, iDelhi On Air. It was a media body of iDelhi. So I scaled that in like 3-4 years. I scaled that from zero to approximately 50,000 subscribers on YouTube just by making campus-centric content. Then moving forward, in IIM Lucknow, where I did my MBA from, I was handling media cell over there as well. So I do have some understanding of media and how to
And
communicate the right idea.
You did that with content, or did you
With
do
content.
that? You had to pay for it.
No. With pure content, campus-centric content we used to make, and people who used to aspire to get into IITs, people who wanted to build their own businesses. We did all those series, right? Entrepreneurial series, interviewing multiple people, multiple founders who were from Delhi. So I used to do that over there, and same thing I did at IIM Lucknow as well.
Yeah, I just don't see this as a fast growth business. I mean, I may be wrong, but I have a
So
fair
I will give you an example. This route, which is in USA, it raised $300 million in funding.
How much
And
revenue has it created, and what kind of success has it had?
right. So I think last year they did $80 million in revenue, and they started in 2020, I guess. 2019 or
$80 million
2020
in revenue?
Yes, in 3 years.
They did $80 million in 3 years.
Yes. So 2022, then their number was $80 million for sure.
That's actually a very good comparable. How well do you know how they have penetrated the market? Of course, they've raised a lot of money, but how well have they penetrated the market?
So I think they are focusing on brands which are aspirational, right? So brands which are sold to the most premium sort of consumers. They have started with that because that is where I need the right experience. The world experience comes only for premium purchases. So they started with that. What they actually do is, apart from the B2B side of integrations, they do insurance. So if you buy a package, if it's a high value package, you can buy insurance so that if something happens to the order in transit, you are insured.
So
there's
they're
a
an
lot of
insurance company. They're not a logistics. What you're trying to do is not an insurance company. I've heard nothing about insurance. This is the first time hearing about
right.
insurance.
So starting from India, I think in India people will not buy insurance. Even for them, I feel, and
So,
the
but
numbers say
then it's not a comparable at all. That's an insurance company. That's a purchase insurance company. I've seen that in lots of places. They're very well penetrated. I didn't know that this is the company that powers this, like travel insurance, and at the point of sale they offer insurance to cover the purchase. That business is a big business, and that monetization model is a it's a reasonable monetization model, because a lot of brands would want to integrate that into their cycle, especially if it's a high ticket item, luxury item, etc. But if you take that away, then your business is not very interesting.
right. So we
The
were thinking of
monetization of your
doing
business is
that
not
as well.
interesting.
We were thinking of doing that as well. I wouldn't deny that. But in India, I think that the market is slightly in early stage for doing that. But yeah, 2-3 years down the line, we do plan to do that as
What
well.
are you going to do for 2-3 years? Nobody's going to fund you to sit around and suck your thumb for 2-3 years.
Okay. So, I would like to tell you that the 50% of their revenues, Routes revenue, comes from B2B integrations as well. They have a Shopify plugin which businesses can use and like give better experience to the customers, apart
But
from
what is
insurance.
that better experience for which? So our Shopify customers, Shopify merchants, buying subscriptions to their product.
Yes,
It's not
yes, they
like
are.
there's a Shopify plugin that they're selling as a SaaS product. So their business, part of their business is a B2B SaaS business. You did not pitch
Yes,
your
definitely.
business as a B2B SaaS business. You pitched your business as a B2C business.
No, so there is definitely a B2B, B2C angle to this, but and the monetization slide I mentioned, right? The return refund part and a better experience part, even we will do that. Shopify plugins, even we are going to build and integrations with which the consumers can,
Arun,
inbuilt that in their.
your pitch
Uh,
doesn't work then. You have all these
mhm,
other
mhm.
things that are coming out as I'm probing,
Okay,
but they're sitting in somewhere buried in your head, but they don't show up in the main pitch. Your main pitch doesn't work.
okay,
So your main pitch says that you're going to be selling to consumers and helping them
mm-hmm,
manage their purchases.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That pitch doesn't work. I'm not sure if people are going to pay to subscribe to a service like that.
Okay,
Insurance is a different matter.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
See, if let's say, I mean, it doesn't really apply to the Swiggy situation, but let's say I
Mm-hmm.
ordered like a big order, like I ordered a 20,000 rupees order or a 50,000 rupees order for a party.
Mm-hmm.
And if you offered me an insurance, if say Swiggy is going to do a problem with that, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble and I will be very pissed off, and maybe I'm willing to pay for an insurance on that
Right,
if it's a big ticket item.
right.
So an insurance business is a different business than what you're proposing. You're proposing that you are going to manage people's customer service problems and so on and so forth. Its value propositions don't work.
Okay,
So the pitch doesn't work.
sure, sure.
The
So
pitch
I'll
doesn't
work on
work.
it.
On this pitch, the business model doesn't work. And you're telling me that the insurance business model in India will not work. So what will work?
So it will not work right now. I think
If it doesn't work right now, don't start the business right now. Start the business 3 years later when you think it will work. Do something else now. Remember one thing, the time in your life is really valuable.
mhm,
Don't invest that time on ideas that don't have legs.
right,
You have a good background. Why waste 3 years of your life or 5 years of your life doing something that is going to basically, falter to get started?
mhm, mhm.
Okay?
Okay.
Sorry
So we'll
to
work on the pitch maybe.
discourage you,
No
but
issue, no
it
issue, no
doesn't
issue.
convince me.
I am very young, so yeah. I mean, I do want to like fall and learn more. So no issues.
All right. Okay, folks, as you can see, the spirit of discussions is very candid, and I'm really trying to watch your back so that you don't go waste your time and waste your runway and waste your personal energy. It takes tremendous energy to do a startup. So if you don't have something that moves, it just wastes a lot of your energy. So don't do it if if that doesn't seem like it's validating. And if you like the style of feedback, style of conversation, then refer 1M to other entrepreneurs, serious entrepreneurs in your network, in your friends, family, colleagues, whatever, who are looking for this kind of advice and feedback. All 1M resources are at 1M1M.com. You will find a terrific blog that you can follow, and you'll learn a lot through that. It's free. The Entrepreneur Journeys book series is also available on Amazon as digital books, all 12 volumes. There are some physical books, 5 of them we published physical, but mostly it's digital. And these are case study based books. You can also learn from there. These roundtables happen every week, almost, or every other week. And this is the 637th roundtable. Hundreds of thousands of people have participated in these. You can come as many times as you want to talk to me, to pitch. You can do that once for free. And if you want to continue working with me, you have to join the premium program. For extensive methodology guidance, we have a curriculum that you can use, and you can use the private roundtables. The combination of curriculum where you learn methodology and and roundtable, private roundtable where you get the advice is how entrepreneurs make progress. We also have a terrific Rolodex, and by joining the premium program, you can tap into that depending on what your needs are: business development, financing, media relations, analyst relations, whatever. On financing, our policy is very specific. So go to the website and look at the investor page. I will show you in a moment. Now, one thing I would like you to do is look at the self-assessment tool that's available for free on our website. These are due diligence questions that VCs will ask you. Please try to answer these questions. If you get stuck, you can always go do curriculum work through multiple touch points. Of curriculum work, I'm going to suggest that you do our bootstrapping course, which is less than 1 hour long. This is a free bootstrapping course. There's a lot of bootstrapping curriculum in the program, but the first free one is available on the blog. It's about an hour of video curriculum. Please do that one, just so you understand what is the expectation of the industry vis-a-vis bootstrapping and funding. You can also go to Udemy and look at there are 80 plus 1M courses. Maureen will give you a link where you will find coupons to these courses. This link, Maureen will give it to you in public chat. And we offer discount coupons to the Udemy courses on a monthly basis. You can also access the entire 1M curriculum through 1M Basic. It's all case study based, and it's $99 a month. So go to the website, look at what to expect from premium, what to expect from basic, etc. And there are FAQs, video FAQs. There's tons of material through which you can get to know the program. The curriculum is described in lots of depth. There's core curriculum where you learn methodology. There's elective, which is domain specific, case studies and lessons from the trenches, case studies of over 1,000 successful entrepreneurs. You get to stand on the shoulders of people who have done it before, and that is incredibly valuable. Definitely look at the investor introductions page on the blog if you're coming here to raise money. There are very specific, guidance. The mantra is bootstrap first, raise money later. Do not go to investors as beggars, go as kings. If you validate and then go out to raise money, your likelihood of success is much higher. If an unvalidated business goes out to raise money, all you do is waste time. Don't do that. That's it. We have 3 roundtables in May coming up, May 2nd, May 16th, and May 23rd. So if you want a slot, please go register and Maureen will make sure you have a slot to pitch. And now we are back on Q&A. So please use the public chat to let us know if you want to talk to me. Maureen can put you as panelist. Feel free to introduce yourselves in the public chat. Tell us where you're joining from, what you're working on, and what brings you here. But now we have time for open Q&A. While you are gathering your thoughts to ask your questions, let me introduce you to Irina Patterson. Irina is on the 1Mby1M team. And if you have questions about the program after this session, you can ask Irina at 1Mby1M.com. She will answer through any touch point. You can do phone, email, WhatsApp, Skype, whatever. Anybody, questions? Questions, guys? No questions?
Hi, this is Junaid. I was listening to the 2 startup founders. They are working on exciting projects. Of course, they're very passionate about it. I had a few questions that I posted for Adam. I do not know if he had the time to read through the chat.
Adam, you can correspond with Junaid in the public chat if you like. Anybody else? Any other questions, comments, introductions? No? No one has questions? So I suggest, let me see, what are Junaid's questions? The school has 50 students to train. How many trainers does the school need? Adam does not have an answer to that question yet. According to the pitch that he did, it is a 50-50 revenue split. So that's what he's proposing. We don't have that validated yet. And I think Adam does not have answer to your question yet on the third question either. Okay, so Junaid's questions are answered. Is there anybody else who has questions? If not, I'm going to wrap up and we'll go do other things with our day. We have lots of work. So, okay, I'm going to wrap up and good luck with everything. Make lots of progress and I'll see hopefully some of you next week. Bye.